Last time.
Hey, this is 30-something Destana. Already beaten Harkin. And they'll doing. I'm Queen of Skyrim.
Yes!
Thalmor about to invade.
Nope.
Prison again, by Thalmor this time.
I'm going to steal your dragon power to conquer time and space.
Hey, Queen.
Yes!
I'm your dad. Want to ally with Hammerfell.
You may have the Dragonborn back, but we still have the advantage.
Oh yeah, have dragons. And the Forsworn. And these big boys.
Oh no, we failed to take over the currently strongest province after skipping over Cyrodiil. But we'll be back.
The hell you will. Mutu. Hey old Jarls, meet the new Jarls.
I'm mad. I challenge you.
Dude?
We'll
go to Cyrodiil.
Not married. Hail to the Emperor and Princess, baby.
I'll go to elsewhere.
I'll go to the past in Daggerfall.
Find the totem and solve this murder.
I found the totem and I'm hiding.
Not married.
Back to the prison.
I'm here now.
Rona, she's your birth mother.
Alrighty. And I'm the Grey Fox now. We're going to invade the Dominion.
Arc 3. Destana is not a conqueror. I'm going to mention here that General Cialius, Destana, Jura, and the commanders have been planning this invasion for a couple months and rapidly building a navy. Cyrodiil and Skyrim have an alliance now that Jura is the emperor, and because of Runa's trip to Cyrodiil, they also have the aid of High Rock, at least Daggerfall. Hammerfell is fighting the Dominion on their border to keep them busy. First target, Valenwood. Skyrim's forces set out from Windhelm, Dawnstar, and Solitude. Ships from Wayrest and Daggerfall meet up with them in the open ocean. Ships from Anvil meet up with the fleet later on. Most go for Woodhearth, though the High Rock fleet peels off and lands somewhere else. Also, Cyrodiil directly assaults Arenthia across the border. Ulfric gives a harrowing speech.
Years ago, I said to you, in the darkest days ahead, it'll be us Nords who lead the fight against the elves. Well, that day has come. I am Ulfric Stormcloak, High King of Skyrim.
Let's kick some Thalmor ass.
For Skyrim!
The main characters transfer to the airship. The day comes, it's pouring, the fleet has already hit Woodhearth, Destana and group sweep in like a hurricane. After the battle, they regroup and find that Galmar took the Stormcloaks south. At the same time, Jura and Calais, with a small force, are fighting on the border. Both groups and High Rock make their way north of Falinesti to coordinate their next move. Destana stops and does a dungeon while the army sleeps, since vampires don't need to sleep. In the morning, the commanders have a meeting, and I introduce a few new characters. General Tassel of Cyrodiil, Sir Rohiso of Wayrest, and her father, Sir Galahad of Daggerfall. General Quintus and Lord Malachi from High Rock are from Rigmor of Cyrodiil. Jura, Destana, Runa, Rohisa, and Galahad, and the Daggerfall Knights head for Falinesti, while Fenrir, Damien, Tassel, and mixed other troops head for Silvanaar. After a hard battle, Destana's group secures the High Elf Queen. Both groups find there's a passage between the major cities, and Destana uses that to meet with the Wood Elf King. He agrees to help, and the core group immediately helps Wood Elves defend and take back Silvanaar. Around the same time, Valiana goes on a mission for Ulfric Stormcloak. She finds Galmar and figures out that he has already taken Greenheart. She gets captured by orc bandits, and when she escapes, she meets up with Fenrir and his group on the Elsewhere border.
Please just shut up. I need a hug.
Well, okay. Anytime. Are you alright?
Don't worry about it. Come to the airship with me.
I missed you, you know.
Yeah, I know. Come on.
Whoa, look at that night sky.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Just like you.
Oh, shut up, you cornball. Let's go up.
So at this point, the Alliance has taken everything but Haven and Southpoint. So the next day, everyone heads for Southpoint. Damien teaches Destana some secret Thalmor magic he found, while everyone else takes Southpoint. It was actually a very small town, and now they make their final plans to take Haven. Destana teaches Tassel the spell Celerity that she learned from the Forsworn, so she can be a really fast-moving distraction. All forces converge on Haven, they win, and then there's an airship dance party. The Navy sets out to Summerset. A few of the characters stay and do a couple of dungeons in Valenwood and catch up via the airship. While in transit, the command ship gets attacked. And I did this short intro video in the same style as the last quest and the Dark Brotherhood quest line. Jura, being a very seasoned warrior, fights out the assassin. but Ulfric Stormcloak is badly hurt, and they take General Ciali as prisoner. So Jura spot promotes Calais to general. Ulfric is hurt badly enough that Galahad has to fly him to Daggerfall, so when the group rejoins the fleet, Destana goes to see him for a little bit, missing part of the battle, but the assault on Summerset happens anyway. During the climb, Damien contacts Medora Durini, who has taken backup residence in Durini Tower, and she teleports in the companions with Balgriff and Vidnar. Runa, Ruhisa, Fenrir, and Jura make it to the Summerset throne after a hard fight up the cliffs, losing many soldiers. Damien decides to go off to the magic school. When Fenrir reaches the summit, Runa tells him to go help their brother. Damien finds a common ground with Carahil, the master wizard, and then General Calais points them to a dungeon in which they get trapped behind a giant Dwemer mecha. Destana arrives on the battle, and the leader of the Thalmor is taken prisoner. Then she rescues Damien and Fenrir. Master Wizard Carahil tells Damien that, not having the power to overwhelm them with chronomancy like they did in Skyrim, the High Elves are spending their life force to give one last-ditch effort and win. Apparently, when the Daedra were locked out of invading Nirn by Martin Septim, the Aedra were also affected. One effect is that the Elves had their lifespans shortened to 150 years, but the High Elves have a secret spring to re-extend their lifespan. Damien searches for the secret spring, while Destana and Jura meet with the kings and queens and Free General Cialius.
First, all parties come to order.
Lord Commander Harokir, representing the Thalmor and Summerset.
King Lotun III of Sentinel, representing Hammerfell.
Sindun Stride, Maiden of Balsweir.
Menisara, Queen of High Rock.
Destana Stormblade, Skyrim.
King Silverhand of Velenwood.
And obviously, I'm Jura, Emperor of Cyrodiil. Destana, make your statement. Skyrim took the lead on this invasion.
First, I want to impress upon you just how thoroughly beaten you are. We're going to tell you how things are going to be. Here are our terms. You will join this League of Nations as an advisory member. You will sign the White Gold Accord. The organization known as the Thalmor will be able to immediately, as well as your standing army and navy. We will install a region, chosen by the coalition. We will occupy but not oppress.
So with that, the war with the Thalmor is over. For now, and as far as they know anyway. While in Summerset, Damien finds that the High Elf's secret spring is fed by an artifact called Oriel's Tear. So when everyone returns to Skyrim, Damien and the college start to make life waters that extend everyone's lives and can make them young again. Partially, this was an explanation for how many of the adults look young nearly 20 years after the game starts. Also, this is when I added some NPC overhaul, and this is when I did a hard reset on my load order. This is what I mentioned at the very beginning. Destana distributes the life waters to allies and friends. So with this, there's another time skip to 220, but not before a couple of solo adventures. Runa and Rigmor have their babies, Kentira Mead Septim and Odvar Septim. This ties up the Rigmor of Cyrodiil story for now. Tragically, Tolfdir dies and Mirabelle becomes the Archmage. Damien becomes the Mastered Wizard and handles procuring more life waters. I haven't really mentioned this before, but his woman from the past, Brasinia Magnessen, helped build back up the blades, but feels out of place in this time. She trades off Sinadar, Damien's son, and goes with a group to destroy the Dawnguard, who have become almost like the Silver Hand, killing anybody that might be a vampire. Also, Serana's vampires are peaceful with Skyrim. Then she leaves with her group on a mission to Orsinium, and for now she's still there. Fenrir and Valiana use the airship to patrol the Northern Sea for pirates, and he does his fair share of dungeons, including Ethereum, Cagrenfalls, and any others I decide that I'm going to do with him. This sequence isn't actually finished yet, but after long, Ulfric pulls him aside and tells him he needs him to take on the responsibility of being Jarl of Eastmarch so he can focus on being king. He's Ulfric's only heir, and the time seems right. During this period, Destana does her usual side questing, one of which is finally fighting the Ebony Warrior. She finally hit level 81. He approaches her in Riften. Destana, in the middle of babysitting for all of her kids, gets attacked by some cultists, accidentally spills life waters on them and one of the orphan babies. You'll see later how that affects things. So after she talks to the Ebony Warrior, she goes and sees her dad in Cyrodiil. He confirms that the Ebony Warrior is actually one of her half-brothers. So in that case, she doesn't actually want to fight him. But he wants to go to Sovngarde so bad, she agrees that she'll spar with him, and then she'll just take him to Sovngarde. So I gave him a little bit of a backstory. His actual reason that he wants to get to Sovngarde so bad is because there was a Nord woman who he knew a long time ago. And he's half Nord, so he figures if he lives a life of strength and heroism, he can get to Sovngarde. So anyway, Destana just takes him there. She calls Odahviing, gets directions to Skuldafn, and flies him there. and the Ebony warrior finds out that his lady friend passed on to reincarnation, which is an option you have when you're in Sovngarde. He thanks her, and he decides he's going to be Jura's personal guard now. Also, Destana sits in Shore's throne, and everybody's like, maybe she's the next Sherazane, I guess. So now the time skip actually happens. It's just a few days before 220, and the effects of the life waters on the babies cause them to age much more rapidly. They should be between 3 and 5, but they look like they're between 13 and 15, with the brains to match. Kintyra and Odvar have spent the last few years hearing Grandma's stories about our early adventures, and they run away to Riften, deciding to make some stories of their own. While there, they meet an orphan, who you might know as Chest Baby. Her name's Fortuna, get it because she came from a chest. She's an Ohm's rat Khajiit, and she has the gift of foresight. Kintyra begins doing work for the Thieves Guild until her parents show up in Riften. Senadar, Damien's son, joins them, and then they travel to Travis Watch, then Iverstead, and do a few low-level fights. Finally, they make their way to Windhelm and are discovered by Serana, who is helping with the search effort. Here, Fortuna and Serana get visions from Akatosh. The vision is vague, but tells them where to go next. Each kid ends up getting on their own ship. Serana lets them go, and later tells the assembled Jarl Fenrir, Destana, Runa, and Damien about it. So, each adult takes a child to follow. Destana volunteers to follow Kintyra to Solstheim because she's heard rumors of another Dragonborn. Also, between the dreams and each member of her family getting attacked by cultists, she definitely knows Merak exists. Runa then runs off to High Rock, where Odvar left 4, but she ends up hitting a storm at sea and getting shipwrecked. Fenrir lets everyone know Valiana and Tassel are in the Western Reach at the request of Minisara, so they might be able to lend a hand if they send a message. Damien heads back to Summerset to follow Senadar. And one more thing, Fortuna headed for Hammerfell. Nobody's specifically going after her, but it just so happens Jura and the Ebony Warrior are taking a trip there so that he can show his son his homeland. I'm going to use a combination of Shadows of Dragonstar and Rudra to represent Hammerfell. So for now, that's it. We've caught up with the present. I already have plans to continue these character stories quite a bit, some of which will involve dealing with other worlds. So yeah, if you enjoyed this and you want to see more, please like and subscribe. And as always, happy modding.